morning and welcome to Rising. We've got a great show for you today. We're kicking off a brand new week. It is Monday morning, of course. Lindsay, how was your weekend? Did you go back home again?
I did. I'm actually
Colorado?
commuting from Denver to D.C.
Wow.
That's a good commute. You know what? It's actually not that bad. When I lived in L.A., I actually drove in the car longer than I was on the plane.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that is commitment to get here.
I just want to be around you. Okay, Robby. So tell me what's on your radar.
Let's get to it. It was the breakup heard around the world. Last week, an increasingly angry Elon Musk laid into President Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill, and then eventually into Trump himself. Musk tweeted that he thought Trump should be impeached and that Trump was in the Epstein files. Look, it's not every day that the most powerful man in the world and the richest and smartest man in the world go to war with each other. And if we're being honest, it's not a great thing for America. In order for the U.S. to continue leading the world in the most important technologies of the future, AI, space travel, electric vehicles, we need a government that is pro-innovation, pro-tech, pro-markets, and pro-freedom. If Trump gets mad at Musk and retaliates, we'll be playing into China's hands. That's the big takeaway, but now that I've had time to process this news, here are three other big picture thoughts about Trump versus Musk, and I know you've all been waiting patiently for my take, covering your ears, refusing to listen to what anyone else had to say until now. So here we go. Number one, I love Elon Musk, you all know it, but when it comes to his claim that Trump is in the Epstein files, I have no idea what he's talking about. We already know that Trump had met Epstein before. There's pictures of them together with Ghislaine Maxwell. Big deal. Before Epstein was exposed as a sexual predator, he was a politically well-connected financier who hobnobbed with elites in both parties. He had Bill Clinton on speed dial. We already know this. Now, most prominent individuals ended their associations with Epstein when his crimes came to light, when he was charged with sex crimes the first time. We should view those with suspicion who continued to associate with Epstein after the initial conviction. That includes Bill Gates, certain individuals in finance, political figures representing the Virgin Islands. It does not include Donald Trump. Now, it's of course possible Elon knows something that we don't. If that's the case, he should spill the beans. The fact that he deleted this tweet rather than backing it up with facts does not inspire confidence that he has the goods. Number two, podcasting is the future of news media. When the Trump-Musk feud erupted, two senior administration officials were on podcasts. J.D. Vance was on with Theo Vaughn and Kash Patel was on with Joe Rogan. Here's Kash finding out about Musk's Epstein tweet.
Elon and Trump seem to be in a bit of a spat, Joe. You want to check the tweet that Elon just put out a little bit ago?
Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day. Jesus Christ.
I'm not participating in any of that conversation
What is
between
he?
Elon
Have a
and Trump.
nice day, DJD. Someone should take his phone away.
They're going back and forth about different things.
This conversation continues.
Jesus Christ, that's a crazy thing to say. How does he know? Does he know that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files? Or does he have access to the Epstein files?
I don't know how he would, but I'm just staying out of the Trump-Elon thing. That's way outside
What
my
the
level.
are they doing?
Now, look, I think it's great that Trump administration team members put themselves out there on podcasts, but I'm sorry, Kash Patel, whom I like, to be clear, he can't just evade this breaking news with an "I'm staying out of this Dodge." That was lame, and podcasters should not let government officials off the hook like that. Number three, ultimately the dispute between Trump and Musk is not about personality or optics or anything of that nature. It is actually fundamentally about public policy. The mainstream media wants you to concentrate on the spectacle because they think it's somehow embarrassing for the MAGA faction. Actually, it isn't. It's fine for important political leaders to have ugly disputes when those disputes are important. This one is. The Musk faction of MAGA, the tech libertarian right, wants Republicans to prioritize shrinking government, cutting wasteful spending, and accelerating technological growth. The Steve Bannon faction of MAGA, the NatCons and the populists, they want Republicans to prioritize immigration and domestic manufacturing. One side wants smaller government so that economic growth and innovation are wholly unleashed. The other side wants bigger government so we can deport even more people, even if it hurts GDP and puts us further in debt. These are two very, very different policy approaches. They aren't always in tension, but when it comes to the big, beautiful bill, they are definitely at cross purposes because the bill makes government bigger so that Trump can carry out those immigration and trade policies. And it sacrifices the idea of balancing the budget in the process. Musk, along with Rand Paul and Thomas Massie, says, look, it's great to deploy more resources on fixing the immigration problem, but reckless government spending is a multi-generational issue that gets neglected over and over again, and if we don't address it now, we never will. This argument isn't for show. We have to do one thing or the other. Fighting in public is messy. Nobody really wants to do it. But if the MAGA coalition is to survive, and frankly, if our country is to survive, we need to have this debate. Internal, factional debate is a concept entirely foreign to the mainstream media, and Democrats, of course, they excommunicate anyone who deviates from progressive cultural orthodoxies and grind down the contrarian members of their faction until they fall in line behind Dem leaders, like AOC. Say what you will about MAGA, but you're allowed to disagree, and you're allowed to argue about stuff in public. I think that's healthier, and here we are.
Well, I don't think so, because Trump was very upset that Elon, is very disrespectful. I think that's a quote. So I was just,
Well, he can be
let
in
me
his
just start
feelings
with the
about it,
obvious.
but-
I was having popcorn, enjoying my flight back to. I was
Sure,
enjoying
you and
my
everyone
flight
else
back
thought
to.
it's entertaining.
Yes, this is entertaining. This was like the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef, except there was no good music out of it. Except these people are running our country, and it was embarrassing because they're on a world stage, not an entertainment
What's
stage,
embarrassing
like the
about
Grammys.
disagreeing?
Okay, because we got meltdowns, we got a contradiction that actually spews over a budget that doesn't make sense to Democrats or Republicans or Elon Musk or fiscal conservatives in the party.
So you
or
agree
people
with
who wanna-
Elon?
Yeah, I do think that he's right. Out of
It
the
makes
two
no
of these,
sense.
yeah, I do think that he's right. Yeah, I actually do. But it's more about the fact that they couldn't keep it together and have a dialogue that's appropriate, like leaders. Trump knighted Elon Musk and put him in a position that no voter asked him to be in, and then got upset that nothing was done. Do you understand that Elon Musk's entire legacy is on the line? He came in and jumped into the government, and now he left with his tail tucked, with Tesla bombing in the stock market, with people protesting his company, with people all over the world that were affected by the aid that he cut, with people that in the U.S. that are upset with him because they lost jobs, federal workers that feel that their job was appropriate and necessary, and that Elon Musk had no real understanding of the work. He's done so much damage, and he's leaving because Trump asked him to do it and then switched
Not nearly
switched
enough
the game like deep, in it. It's like he's in the fourth quarter he decided on a new plan. It doesn't make any sense. And so I think that Elon Musk is just in the right in the situation. Maybe not by name calling. I never want to go down that route. But just the fact that he's so upset, it's like, well, you just are not making any sense. You put me in a position to accomplish something, and you're totally pulling back every single thing that I tried to accomplish when you asked me to expose some of the spending, but you want to spend more. And you missed the key part of that budget bill. It's about tax cuts more than anything else. It's about tax cuts. So that's the biggest thing, is that we don't have to do this right now.
Well, the tax
We don't
cuts-
have to actually have this bill on the table right now.
Elon, Rand Paul, Thomas Massie, and myself, we all support the tax cuts. We want the big, beautiful bill split in two. We'll vote on taxes, absolutely. Vote for the taxes. Rand Paul has said, all good on that part of it. Yes, tax cuts make them permanent. More taxes, always better. More tax cuts, always
I was
better.
like, excuse me?
More taxes, always worse. More tax cuts, always better for everyone. It's great. The spending bill is a different matter. We need to decrease spending. And I'm sorry, Republicans, you got to be adults here. You got to either massively slash federal departments and fire a lot of federal workers, or you have to tackle entitlements, which nobody wants to do, or you got to touch defense spending. That's it. That's all the spending.
But
you got to do one of those three things, or you'll
I
never
just want
balance
to
the
make
budget.
sure we're not skipping over the elephant in the room, because I know there are a lot of people on X, and I'm not going to say this represents the entire Republican Party, but there are people that look into conspiracy theories on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we're skipping over Elon Musk saying that he might know something regarding Trump and the Epstein files is not something that I'm going to acceptably say that I'm willing to say we're going to skip over, because no one else on all these podcasts that you're talking about, that everybody goes on and the Republican Party loves, they talk about stuff like this. They talk about Epstein. They talk about scandals that we might not know about. So this is something that's big news. Don't just brush it off inside of your read real quick. It's a
Well,
big
I'm
deal.
not brushing it off.
It's
I don't
a huge
think.
deal.
I think he's not. I think what he means. I don't know what he means by Trump is in the Epstein files. If he just means Trump met Jeffrey Epstein, we already knew that. There's pictures of them together, and it's from, as I said, the time period before Jeffrey Epstein was known to be a sex offender. So
Well, we know that he deleted
if there's
it,
more to
so-
it, then
Yeah, we need to know.
then we should know. But then, and Kash Patel should address those questions. I was like, oh, this whole dispute is above my pay grade. What are you talking about? This is your job, man. And to your point, I agree with you. He's on the big Joe Rogan podcast, which is obsessed with correctly
Conspiracy theory.
more. No, I was going to say is obsessed with
Oh, okay.
disclosure on the Epstein subject. So to brush it off at that juncture felt a little false to me. One other point: it is not about the electric vehicle mandates, the subsidies. Elon has said he doesn't need those subsidies. He doesn't want those subsidies. He doesn't think there will be subsidies for the fossil fuel industry either. We should get rid of all the subsidies. I agree with that, but it's not. I
have so many things
Trump
about what this is actually
are
about.
trying to make it about
this.
that they're taking away Elon subsidies. That is not what this is about. This is about a bill that does not deliver for the American people the cuts to government spending Republicans have ran on election cycle after election cycle my entire life that they can only deliver now and won't do it.
We're going to keep talking about this, obviously. The LA riots over ICE operations have reached a fever pitch as Trump calls in the National Guard. That's next.